Hello, welcome to the final word. Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 1. Big win for the Blues at the City Ground. Tough place to go and get a result. And Everton went there and took all 3 points on a very cold Saturday night. The full Jingle Bells was in attendance there, and as well as a lot of other chants. The fans were brilliant, and Everton got all 3 points, joined by Jack. And obviously Ted is here, of course. We're sporting... Three of us sporting the Christmas jumpers, which are available. If you want it worldwide, today is your last day to order. If you want it in Europe and the UK and stuff, you've got a bit more time, but these are. And there's an Elvis one as well. But anyway, on with the show. Jack, great win. And, you know, big 3 points for Everton, obviously, given the points deduction and all that other stuff that has gone with it.
Yeah, massive win for us, and I don't want to say we needed it because it's December, but
we did.
It really felt like we needed it. I think it just shows...
We did, Jack. We needed it. You don't have to pussyfoot around. We needed it.
Yeah, it just shows that there is the quality in this side. It's easy to look at the league table and, you know, lose all hope, and, you know, when you look at how the points deduction might affect the players on the pitch as well. But we know there's quality in this side. We know we're good away from home as well, even though, you know, Forest particularly are quite good at home usually. And I think it does show that, you know, we can believe in these lads and try and keep our heads. And I say that for me as much as anyone else as well, because I was last week a little bit, you know what, I think we might be doomed, and you know, I say that for everyone, myself included. But there is the quality in this side to get results, especially away from home, where we have been good this season. And you know, we shown it at the weekend. It was a decent performance and very good 3 points as well. And you know, maybe Forest are one of those teams you're looking at thinking, can we drag them into this mess as well, into this relegation conversation? That helps us, so we can potentially leapfrog them as well. Yeah, just a very important 3 points, really.
I mean, Ped, we did need it, but you know, if you without the points deduction, Everton are mid-table and above Forest anyway, and it felt like that's how the players approached it. Forgetting about, I don't know whether you can, but forgetting about the league table and almost saying we're above these anyway in the league, so we're pretty similar. Just go and play your normal game, because the players have got the results that warrant them being mid-table, albeit the 10 points puts them in the bottom three before, well, they were actually bottom, weren't they, before the game. So what did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we went into the game bottom of the table, didn't we? And so mentally, that's very tough for the fans. Knowing you are a better team than Forest, points-wise, makes it... That's the hurdle you've got to get over mentally. But for the players, both that's the professional footballers, so they've just got to go out and do their job and hope that it doesn't affect them. And it didn't seem to affect them at all. And that's where we've got to be. You know, you look at the game, look at winning the game, and obviously you're technically 11th. If everything is how it is, and that's where we are as a team. And I'm the same as Jack. Last week was very mentally tough because it's just negative thoughts going around your head, you know. And I think this was a really important game to try and find that little bit of perspective of where we are. And
absolutely, yeah.
Yes, you know, as I said, if we had 10 points, we'd be mid-table now, and you'd be looking at this and thinking, we are going to be absolutely fine, absolutely fine. This gives us the hope that, again, we are going to be fine. If we can get a win this week, then we'll get out the bottom three, and then it's just about pushing on. But I think the good thing about this game is it showed a different level as well of playing against the team. We were in a similar position to, you know, to where we should be. And yeah, we looked a lot better than them. We bossed the game. I mean, I don't think we dominated the game, but I do think we bossed the game. You know, if you can look at those two things.
I think we control the game. They you know, had obviously more possession. We had our sweet spot possession, 38%. And when I say control the game, I don't mean dictated it, because they were doing it, but we were in control of what was happening in front of us. The composure was there. 3 away wins on the run now, isn't it? Which is something Everton don't really do. Or haven't done, certainly since the COVID season with Carlo. And we've beaten, the last 3 teams have all been around us, and we've beaten them all. You know, West Ham, Palace, Forest, all very similar to us, and we've beaten them. And we've beaten all of them with a comfort. Now, okay, Palace was a little bit hit and miss, as in, you know, it was moving up and down, wasn't it? West Ham, I thought we totally deserved the win at West Ham. In fact, we probably could have won by more. And this one, wouldn't say we could have won by more, but for me, it was one of those comfortable 1-0 wins, which you don't really get away from home. And both teams were missing the main striker. Obviously, we had no Dominic Calvert-Lewin. They had no Owondi. And but that's the way it is. And I think the good thing for Everton was, obviously, Dom was out. And it was just basically Beto straight back in the side, Jack. And, okay, his levels are probably a bit below Dom at the moment, but he still gave us that framework to work from. And it wasn't like... And I think this has been the difference this season. Last season, and certainly the opening 2 or 3 weeks of this season, that striker was like Mopay. And therefore, it's a totally different thing. You haven't got someone big and strong up front, not quick, albeit he's doing well for Brentford. But for Everton, because we are able to bring better when he's similar frames, well, he's bigger than Dom, isn't he? He's a big unit. It enabled us to carry on playing the way we have been playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Beto didn't have his best game.
No.
He's a striker who clearly needs a goal, isn't he? But I had a similar conversation with my dad as well, where he said we've got 3 strikers and they're all very similar. They all want to do the same sort of things. And we said that's not a bad thing because, like you said, last year the alternative was Maupay. And yeah,
or Damari Gray.
Yeah, and look, Maupay, he showed this season he can get a couple of goals here and there, but not in our side, not the way we were trying to play, because we suit having a striker of very specific mould, and that's Calvert-Lewin and that's Beto, and obviously Chimiti as well, but he's a kid, he's still learning. But Beto, even when he's not playing particularly well, it means we can move the same as a team, the same passes still on. Okay, it might not come off for Beto because, you know, he's struggling, he needs his goal, but okay, it's the rebound then, or you know, like the goal itself comes with aiming for Beto. I mean, do we play that pass if we don't have a big number 9 on the pitch? We can aim that ball at. I don't know if we do. And then we get the goal from the follow-up from that. And it just shows the importance of knowing your own system, doesn't it? And then recruiting players who suit that system. So then if one drops out, the next one can come in. His individual accomplishments in that game might not be the same as what Calvert-Lewin's might have been, but it means we can play the same and the same passes are on, and the players know what they're going to do before that game's even started.
And Pedit does. I know that there was obviously, when you heard Dom training indoors on Thursday and you start going, hopefully it's not long term, but at least it wasn't the case of like, we knew he was out, but well, I certainly didn't. It wasn't to me like, God's sake, here we go again. It was like, Sam, Beto's in, Timothy's on the bench, it's fine. Right now, like I said, the level is a bit lower, but it's a player still learning the Premier League and learning how tough this is and that. And it did mean we could carry on with kind of what we have been doing, the core, trying to get round the big target man. He just needs a goal, doesn't he?
I think he needs more than a goal. I don't think he's quite at the level yet. And I think there's a lot to work on. I think his first touch isn't great, and I think he's a player who wants to run with the ball, but he doesn't get any opportunities to run with the ball because of the way we do play. But I think he's got to. It would be helpful if he did score. It would calm everyone down a little bit, especially him. I think it'll take time. He's raw. He's massively raw.
No, he is raw. Yeah.
But I'm the same. I actually put him in my team for the starting 11. So it's just like, if Dom's not available, let's not make any dramas about it. Let's just put him in the team. He'll need games of football. This is just the way it is.
Yeah.
Players come from abroad, and unless they're absolutely top quality, they don't always just come into the Premier League and hit it off straight away. They don't always have that quality, and he certainly doesn't have that higher, level quality. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take lots of coaching.
Raw and enthusiastic, isn't he?
It's going to take a lot of coaching. It's going to take him getting used to the pace of the game. It's going to get him calming down a little bit as well. You can see what he's trying to do, but it's before he gets a chance to do it, the ball's already bounced off his foot. So the thing is, he's a big lad, and I imagine in Italy he would have played around a lot of people who are not as big and strong with him, and he would. It's just not the way in the Premier League. This is why it is the league it is because generally centre-backs are big, strong players who've also got a little bit of pace as well. That's why they all end up in the Premier League. Yeah. So it's going to be difficult. He'll be facing players that in the past he would have just got, in Italy,
knocked
the ball past them and used his pace. Not writing the lad off at all. It's going to take time. He's going to need games. He got a game. Now, whether we look at it and go, well, we hope Don comes back, but he still needs games. This lad, and the thing about it is he still occupies players because of his strength and because of his size. It's just that finishing touch, of course, he's just not there yet. You know, there was one in, obviously, the chance in the first half. There's actually also the header that he probably should have scored before Dwight McNeil put the ball in the back of the net. It's a great ball in, and he just sort of completely misses the header. If you slow it down, you just see the shadow come across, and that's him missing the ball. So they'll have known this when he came in. They'll have known it, but I think he's one of those players where you can see there's no lack of enthusiasm there, and it'll be a play. He's desperate. He's not someone you can see who's going, oh, I'm too good for this team or whatever. But it's like there's a lad desperate to do well there. So it is what it is at the moment, and he's got a different skill set, and hopefully it'll come soon when we see it.
There was, I must say, that first half there was a lack of quality from both sides. It was. The amount of time I'd watch the kids' game in the morning, and it was as bad as the Premier League game, where people are just kicking the ball off, and it was terrible. Both teams, no composure at times, either of them, just slashing balls anywhere. But at times, Everton did play a little bit and got in a few times, and the Corey misplacing 2 great opportunities. He's loose with the ball, it's the nicest way of putting it without the like the Corey. But we did have a big chance in that first half, and it was better when it was a ball in and the keeper spilt it, and he's just got to hit the target, hasn't he? And he's side-footed it over the bar, but that was a presentable chance for him. If he hits the target, he probably scores. And is that like what do you think? It's like what Ped's saying there? He's just snatching at that because he hasn't got the goal yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that from him a couple of times as well when he has been on the pitch, where he'll snatch at chances, or we've seen later on he went for a shot that wasn't really on when he could have played the pass and potentially got the assist. And you're absolutely right, Ped, with his coaching, there is stuff he needs to work on as a player, absolutely. But I think he'll make better choices on the pitch if he can just get that goal, because that's not on his mind. And
yeah.
Because that's the first thing that's attached to him at the moment by the commentators and the pundits and by fans as well. As he's not got a Premier League goal yet, he's only scored one, and it was against Doncaster. And there's clearly ability there, and it does need to be coached. But he's not being coached at a high level for very long. He's come through the lower leagues in Portugal, working part-time. I think it will come for him, but need to stop snatching at chances like that, and hopefully once he does and he can get a goal or two, there'll just be a bit more composure there. And at situations like in the second half when he's got a pass on, he goes for that and just slides his man through rather than going for a shot that's not on, and that'll benefit him as well. And I think if he can make those choices as well, fans won't get on his back for not scoring. There was the situation against Burnley in the Cup where he comes on, he has that really good run, and it leads to a score and a goal. Yeah. No one was going, this Beto really needs a goal after that game. They're going, no, that's it, that's what we want from him. If he's not scoring, he's making chances because he's working so hard. And like I say, fans know Dominic Calvert-Lewin's our striker, so Beto's lack of goals won't matter much to the fans if he's doing other stuff, if he's still making chances and making runs that lead to goals.
Absolutely. In that first half, we had Dwight McNeil's attempt, which was cleared off the line. Good defending from Murillo, got back there, Pep. But that was showing you that the times we did get in, we were able to create, we were able to carve them open a little bit. And yeah, McNeil probably should have done a bit better, but it was a great clearance off the line, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't actually a great strike, was it?
No,
when you look at it.
Yeah, he scuffed it a little bit.
It was again, you mentioned it, the Corey put him a little bit wider than it really needed to be.
Yeah.
And he sort of like tried to guide it. And again, some confidence, some other player who hasn't scored the goal. Yeah. If he smashes that like he smashes his goal, then the lad hasn't even got a chance. But it's all those little things about confidence and wanting to get it absolutely right. Seeing that there's an opportunity and thinking, like, if I can just steer this on target. And in he's probably done the right thing for it. It's just can't make allowances.
Cleanly enough either.
You can't make allowances for someone cutting back and kicking it off the line, can you? He's thinking, right, if I just get it on target and yeah, if he just put his foot through it, the opportunity wouldn't be there for the defender. But it's a confidence thing again, isn't it? It's how many chances do we get a game? How many chances does he get a game? He hasn't been playing particularly well offensively. He's been doing really well in his general play. Yeah. But offensively, he's been lacking the goals this season. So yeah, it was a big chance, and it was just one of them of like, because it had been a bit like first half was pretty poor, but it had been like, you could see the chances were there, and just like, if we could just calm it down a little bit and not snatch at things, we've got a big opportunity, and that was just a perfect example of it.
Well, you mentioned McNeil as well. He had the same thing against Man United, where again, if he just put his foot through it, and it's confidence in it as a forward player. If they're overthinking, if they think, I just need to get this right, just place this right, rather than I'm just going to put my foot through this, it's going to be a goal. It maybe shows that lack of self-confidence, but again, got his goal now. Hopefully that goes away.
But it's that thing as well, just when you hear people go, oh, he hit that too well. It's that thing of, when people, natural strikers, they don't think about it because they're just good. They just put the ball, they just do it without thinking. When the thinking takes over, that sometimes, players you get one-on-one and suddenly you've got, oh God, all the thoughts go through their head. And then when it's instinctive, and that instinctiveness comes with confidence, and you can tell that him and Beto and a few other bar players at the moment, it's snatching at everything, just snatching, because they're thinking, how many chances do we get? But when you get to a level where you are creating lots of chances all the time, you probably just don't think like that whatsoever. It all just comes so naturally.
Yeah, it's when you're scoring goals, the goal's huge. You never ever think and as you start missing, the goal starts getting smaller and smaller, and you start thinking, I need to put that there, and then it gives the keeper a chance, so you don't hit it cleanly as that. Like last season, he was so confident, you think of like Brighton away, when he like dummied the keeper. And then his second goal in that game, where he just leathers it into the top corner. Fulham at home, gets it, turns, bang, it's in the bottom corner. Brentford, the opening seconds, arrow, left foot, top corner. That's when you play him with that confidence. And that will calm him down. The goal will help him massively. Like last week against United, it's on his right foot, but the keeper's laying down, basically. If he just smashes that as hard as he can, he scores. But he takes some off it to try and just make sure I get it on target, and they cleared it off the line. This was similar. He scuffed it a little bit, but he's tried to just make sure it's past the keeper. It's a good clearance. If the fella gives it up, it's a goal, isn't it? Good play from their centre-back, but it was a good opportunity. What I thought Everton did really well, though, particularly in the first half, he gave them nothing. They marked Chris Wood comfortably. He gave him nothing. And they had an Anthony Elanga chance, which he just broke, and he hit it with his right foot, but we should have really defended it better, letting people run into the box. And they had a Morgan Gibbs-White shot right on half-time. Yeah, messing around with it. And that was the thing. We were causing our own issues there. And he hits that into the side net. But we went in 0-0 at half-time, and I was quite calm, thinking, OK, McNeil, possibly should have scored that. But it's 0-0. It's here for us for the taking, because they didn't feel like we were like hanging on a little at any time in it, really. Coming out for that second half, and I'm sure that's what the manager would have said, was, lads, there's a great opportunity for you here. This game is there to be won. And we did come out and we did kind of get hold of the game again, right at the start of the second half.
Yeah, and again, it speaks to that composure, doesn't it? That just, composure in the game, not dominating and stuff. We had less possession, but it's limiting what they do with the ball, and it's winning the ball back at crucial moments, and that's what I thought James Garner and Idrissa Gana Gueye did on a few occasions as well. And we had that composure in the middle of the park, so we weren't giving it away in stupid situations like we have done this season. And just picking the right pass. That doesn't have to be a 40 yards cross pitch pass, but just picking out the right one, just keep it moving just naturally and keep that flow up the pitch. And that's something we didn't really struggle with at the weekend, and with Onana missing as well, and that's something we all said after the United game, or if we had Onana in the middle, would we just have a bit more of a handle on the game? We missed them at the weekend, but the two of them stepped up, and credit to them.
Yeah, I thought the midfield two were brilliant at the weekend, but it is not having a centre midfielder on the bench. It's difficult, isn't it? Because, like you said, Idrissa Gana Gueye is obviously getting older. Of course he is, and he starts to tire around the 75th minute, you see it. I mean, on Saturday, it wasn't as noticeable because he played really well, and I think there was times he did just sit in and let James Garner go and do a little bit more of the harrying and pressing. And it isn't always a massively noticeable thing, but if you then had someone to bring on, if Amadou Onana was, say, coming back to fitness and he was fine, and the manager was like your sub, for 20 minutes from the end, you could have put him on to steer it. So I thought those two did manage that quite well, but it is massively important that we get some of these squad players on the bench as well.
I'm not sure he would have changed it.
Well, he might not. Well, he's not. Yeah, he's not.
Knowing him.
Yeah, he's not a huge.
I'm not sure he would have, but I thought it was the first time for a long time where the game wasn't, we have an attack, they have an attack, we have an attack, they have an attack. It was, we just kept on winning the ball back in the centre of the park, and that's why Ghana and the Ghana game was so important. Every time they tried to get out, we just won it back and kept going again. And it just felt like something was going to happen because of that. We just weren't letting them get out. We had a real dominance on the game, and it happens to us this a lot where it was noticeable in the second half against Palace when they got their second goal. It was like they just kept on winning the ball back and then putting in good areas, and you just think, at some point something will give you, and it was like that in this game. And that's why James Garner, and it was easily his best game in an Everton shirt. You could see he really had the bit between his teeth. He really wanted to impress, going back to his old club. He wanted to show how important he was, and also to him, he's probably thinking like, well, I'm in this team now. I'm part of this midfield. There's nothing's gonna change that now. But I've also got to start being a bit more noticeable, because that's the thing that you'd say about Garner is like, he's a good, nice, tidy player, but how noticeable is he during the game? He does his part, and I thought this was the first time. Maybe a Brentford coming off the right, but first time I thought everyone can see today how good technically of a footballer and a good tackler you are, and how much you want it. And I think he showed that brilliantly. So I think we've got his numbers here, haven't we?
Yeah, go ahead. Get them up, Ned. James Garner's numbers, here we go. 63 touches, won 6 out of 11 duels, 3 interceptions, 1 tackle, and a passing accuracy of 80%. You can see his heat map there. And it is, I think, it's him and Onana now, isn't it? When everyone's fit, that seemed to be the partnership the manager was leaning towards, that youth in midfield, young, both 21 or 22. And Idrissa Gana Gueye had started to become the sub and the person who will come on to look after it. So I think you're right, he has had to step up a little bit in Onana's absence. Didn't do it brilliantly against United, but did do it really well at the weekend, and they were key. And Everton got the goal, and I got it at a great time as well. And it was because, you're right, Ped, we were winning the ball back from them, so they never built up any kind of head of steam, really, where you were thinking, we're in trouble here, and Everton were able to keep getting into the good positions, and we get the goal. And we'll have a look at the still. We've got the stills here. Ned will put them on for us. So it come from a Pickford ball into the box. Jarrad Branthwaite goes up for the ball. It gets headed out. There we go. And Jack Harrison just rolls that one in to Idrissa Gana Gueye and then makes the run. Now, just keep that there for a second. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about an overlapping fullback, isn't it? It's that we're not able to play this ball enough because Ashley Young doesn't go on the outside. It's why we asked for Patterson to be involved, and it'd probably be the same with Seamus. He probably wouldn't be making this regularly because of the age and being wary of getting back. But we were able to do it on this occasion. So he plays it in, Idrissa Gana Gueye gives him it back. And as that's coming back to Harrison, we've got 5 Everton players circled in the middle. And obviously Garner's in there, and we've got a couple on the edge of the box. You can see Michalenko there and James Garner on the edge. Harrison going to stand it up. There's Beto and Tarkowski in the middle. Dwight McNeil at the back there. There we go. The cross comes in. And we've got... Now, as this come in, it was a great little ball. Very similar to his ball against Palace, which Michalenko headed in. And I seen... Obviously, Beto and Taki in the middle, and would expect them, one of them, to head it. But it goes over them. Beto missed times, but Dwight McNeil's pulled away to the back. Great first touch. Gets it out of his foot. And then the second one is the Al paintbrush, as he's called it, right in that top bin. Tremendous strike. Great way to open your account. Very similar to his goal at Southampton last season when he opened his account for Everton. Good first touch and smashed it in the net. He's got that left foot. He's capable of doing that, isn't he? That's not what we do enough. We don't load the middle so that he's not really being given the opportunity on his own. The same on the other side with Jack Harrison. If we have more bodies running, I know that's come around because of a set piece, but even when we're attacking, it's why we need players making runs to free up other players. But Jack, what a way to open your account for the season.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, you mentioned it was like the Southampton one, and then last season he went on to be our top scorer.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully scoring a similar goal this year, he can go on to get more goals this year as well. Because he was important last year, and he did come up with some good finishes. And
whatever he got for Christmas, then aftershave and the new socks.
Yeah,
second half of the season, Links Africa.
It gave him the motivation to go on and do what he did last year. But
top selling fragrance in there, Burnley.
There you go.
But no, a great finish and a good passage of play as well, and it just shows having the importance of an overlap and run. And you know, Harrison, a player we know has got the ability as well. We're asking for a bit more from. His game's been limited by the lack of help he's got down that right hand side. He could be doing more outside of that as well, but it's not helping him. He gets it there, and we put a good ball into the box. And you know, like I said at the start, do we do that if Beto's not on the pitch and it's Maupay instead? He's who they were aiming for, wasn't it? You know, the big 6'2" striker. You know, if we didn't have that same profile of player, do we play that pass, or are we looking for a different type of move? And yeah, it doesn't come off for Beto, but we played the pass and it's the second ball we pick up on.
Because you've got a 6'4" striker motioning towards the ball, they have to look at him, and every one of them gets attracted to him and Tarkowski, and it's why McNeil's free. Whereas if you've got me in the middle, one of you's going to win. You know, I'm going to beat him in the year. Michalenko scored.
From a similar area, didn't he? So, you know, if you've got men in the box, and being able to recycle the ball quickly means players can stay up. They're not all having to go back to their positions and then come back.
But that, we've just highlighted the once. It's what we go on about all the time, is the overlap and fullback. I watched Newcastle and Man U on Saturday night. They scored the same goal, only Trippier rolled it across the box for a tap in for Gordon. Players getting in round the back. We've took almost a huge part of that away from ourselves because our fullback can't go on the outside. And Jack Harrison's just showing you there. And Garner does really well, just gives him a pass. It's the wall pass, knock it and go. The hardest thing in the league to mark. Player passes it and runs behind you, and you're caught between two. You're in trouble, and that was great to see. And that should give them encouragement, more of that. So you can either throw it in low, or you can stand it up and go on then. Off you go. And it was a really, really good goal.
Do you know what? Atish Guy is honestly, he's such a better player than what people give him credit for.
Absolutely.
He's honestly, like, I know people have been slagging him all season, but
it's weird.
He's an easy target for a lot of people, isn't he?
But he's such a good footballer, though. Like, and I know he misplaces passes, and there was a couple in this game where you just like the nice 5-yard passes, but he's got a brain on him. I've said for years how better he can be in the final third.
So number 10 for Lille, Villa.
And he showed that in the World Cup for Senegal this time last year, playing much higher up in the pitch. And you know, someone a centre midfielder who just runs round a bit wouldn't have given the ball back there. It's like, and I know it seems like a simple pass, but
it's the quick thinking, isn't it?
But the weight of the pass.
He's been great since he came back into the side, like, you know, and giving that ball back to Harrison, and Harrison just has to stand her up, really. That's his job. I know it's not always that easy, but it's just keeping...
With his right foot as well.
It's just keeping the ball... I mean, listen, don't get me started.
No, but I'm just saying.
It should be able to cross with your right foot.
Of course he should, but I'm saying that
issues.
He's good at that, isn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to check back. Good at that.
And it's a well-worked one, and obviously the finish is great, but just to... It's obviously something they're working on. Certainly what it seems like as well is we're working on second phases of set pieces a lot as well. If it doesn't work out the first time, we get it. Because you've seen quite a few goals this season, like go back to Brentford as well. Yeah. We've recycled a lot of free kicks, and on Saturday we had a few little different ones as well, little different ways of putting the ball into Tarky and stuff, not making it so obvious we're looking for Tarky. But I do like how many times now it looks like, you know, players are getting in good areas because they're staying up there, and it leads to more opportunities. You know, we're not blessed with a number 10 who's going to cut the opposition open. We're not blessed with like wingers who are going to pick the ball up and get away from people. But what we are blessed with is the ability to get good balls into the box with angled balls and then keeping it alive. And the more we find different ways of doing that, obviously it's going to lead to more opportunities to score. Which obviously we're not a free-flowing scoring side either, but yeah, it was a great goal, great finish.
Scoring regular, we didn't score against United. Scoring regularly though, aren't we? We're scoring away, I think. Am I right in saying Villa's the only game we've not scored in away from Goodison? I think it is. I think that's right.
Anfield.
Oh, Anfield, sorry, so I was wrong. But, you know, Liverpool, we never scored
You
it.
often
That doesn't count.
just forget that game.
I literally
Naturally.
just blacked that game out. That's just a
Naturally.
game.
You didn't even watch last season?
No, I just went on holiday rather than watch it. But what pleased me after was, you'd always knew Forest were going to get a couple of chances at home. You'd always get chances in games, especially if it's 1-0. But what pleased me was we were able to... What we used to do, and I think Sean Dyche deserves... I've been critical of him with some of his stuff, like at home. I think he's still struggling to find the right balance at Goodison. But the thing he has done since he come in, and he's done it really well, away from Goodison Park, is they've drilled the players not to collapse. And we've only really seen it at Arsenal last season, but that was more players' individual errors that caused it. And Villa, there might be reasons in both of those games. Why? Don't say it.
I'm just asking, was the players playing in that game that might not play in other games?
Yeah, and they played in both of those games, right? But
I can't think.
no, don't forget it. Right, it's the same thing as at Anfield when it was
It's on the tip of my
0-0.
tongue.
But anyway, right?
Why does it remind me of getting on the bus?
Don't, right? But the thing about it was what he's done really well, Sean Dyche and Wone, and even Steve Stone have been able to do, is make sure that the calm, even when he took the lead. I've seen this at West Ham the other week when Dom scored. There was still a calmness about how we defended. And this was evident the other day. I thought that, okay, I can think of a shot which was Murillo had a shot, didn't he, which Pickford done. He should save it, but he got it
Probably
out.
have kicked that away.
He got it out. He made it look good. But the big one was obviously when he was out smartly with a block, and he was brave and he was out quickly, and obviously give the arse celebration when he got up, didn't he? But they were the only real two moments. I do have to say, though, Nottingham Forest should have had a penalty. The Corral, and what the hell he is doing. The handball one, never a pen, because his arm was here, although under my black and white rules it would have been. But his arm was into his body. But why the hell he's dragging the lad so much? I'm very surprised we got given it. I must qualify that by saying Everton should have had a penalty for handball as well, which they didn't get. But the Decore one, he got away with.
So I don't think it was a penalty. No, I don't. Honestly, I don't. The Man United one I thought was a penalty. The Crystal Palace one I thought was a penalty. I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought it was two players both at each other, and the one who's in the box throws himself to the ground.
Why? He's grabbed the shit.
They both got hold of each other. You watch them every.
I've watched that about
every player does it.
Both
of them have got hold of each other, and all he does is the classic spin and fall over. I give penalties to opposition players all the time, and I'm not having this one. I don't think it was a penalty. I just think it was two. Listen, refs don't get it wrong. They don't get it wrong.
No. Especially not Simon.
They're with me on this one. The refs are with me.
Fair play. Listen.
I honestly didn't think it was a penalty in real time.
I'm delighted, but I thought it was a penalty.
No, I didn't. I just think the difference is the offensive player knows he has to throw himself on the ground, whereas the defensive player just can't do that.
See, I thought it was like Van Dijk at Luton the other week, and I thought that was a penalty. Didn't get it.
I thought he was.
What did you think, Jack?
I think it's less of does it deserve to be a penalty or doesn't it? I think it's do they get given. And I think they do. I think it is a bit, bit of both going at it. But
well, that's obviously what they thought.
Yeah,
didn't
with me.
They typically get given, and I was expecting.
Do they though? Do they typically get given?
I think if
they get given.
Rodri got one in the Manchester derby.
Do you know when they get given? In August.
Rodri got one the other week at Old Trafford.
Man City never get any decisions. They deserve some good luck. They are the bastions of English football. They deserve a little bit of good luck. They are under the cosh for reasons I don't understand why. And it's about time. See, it's about time the officials stood up for the little guy, and that's what they're doing with Man City.
Fair play. But Pickford save when he rushed out quickly was a brilliant block. But I thought that aside, I thought we coped really well, and we're really calm.
You're always going to give up a couple of chances, aren't you? 1-0 leads, playing away. Teams are always going to have a bit of a rally with that scoreline, but to keep it to just, that half chance with Murillo and then the one where Pickford ran out, again, it shows that composure, and that's been Everton's Achilles heel for a while, hasn't it? And, backs are against the wall, default.
I mean, they did try to play the ultimate card, didn't he? Origi in December. Come on.
When he came on, I didn't say another word. Everton had tweeted like Jordan Pickford's, for when he came and did the block, and I seen that, and then I seen
they tweeted that in real time.
Yeah.
See, and the thing about
these people are arguing with these idiots.
The thing about it is right. I actually thought the Pickford bit, because Pickford had just had that thing with time wasting, hadn't he?
Which wasn't him.
But he sort of lost the plot for 5 minutes, Pickford. Didn't even notice. I was like, that's him, he misses. Oh my God, he's losing. And the bit where he came out was actually part of him losing the plot. He was having a little moment. He was fuming, and you could see him.
He'd shouted at Mykolenko.
And he'd thrown the ball out, and he was having a little moment where I was like, calm down, mate. Just calm. Have a look at your bottle. And just calm down.
He done one bit where you seen him go to the... Yeah. What was it? He went to his... Was it after that?
Honestly,
he went over to the thing and he looked at his... He had his water and he looked at something, then he put it down and he went all right again.
He had a proper 5 minutes and the ball, that coming out was part of his 5 minutes.
Well, fair play.
I was like, it's right.
Fair play to him.
I was sitting there going, just like... Yeah. I don't know what it is that he struggles with, but honestly, we all know, we've all seen it, and we all know that he's calmed down.
He's worked for the last few years. He's worked.
But it was like when the ref went over to him, I was like,
that wasn't even his fault.
I know, but I was like, just put the ball down and get on with it, because we see it all the time. He has these moments that just cause him to wobble for 5 minutes, whereas he used to have wobbles that lasted about 6 months. But I was just like, please, just calm down.
But that's what I'm saying. In general, we defended in a calmness, and I think the manager has brought. He deserves big credit for that. He has brought that, like, ability to, like, 1-0 up away, even though they had the ball a lot to in like the injury time. You're thinking
it's not panicking just because they have the
we
ball.
Were still fine. Like Brantwaite's.
It's individuals as well.
And you know who else was brilliant?
Mykolenko was solid.
Their best player is Morgan Gibbs-White, and he had one shot, really. Mykolenko has been superb for weeks. He really has. I don't think he gets enough credit.
Ashley Young had a good game.
And Young was solid.
Apart from the first foul.
Foul on Elanga.
But after that, he was... But this is why he likes him, in general, is because most of our players do not have those destructive moments in their game, like the ones that pick. We don't have players genuinely who pick the ball up and run into blind alleys where you're just like, what do you do? Just keep the ball. And we have quite a calm side now. And I think that's what the manager wants. Whether sometimes we like it, it's why he doesn't make subs, because he looks at the players and says, in general, these aren't going to make mistakes that are going to cost us at the other end. They might make mistakes that lead to us giving the ball like high up the pitch. Like there was one where McNeil, it was down the left, and he kept the ball in, but and I was like, you could have just kicked it in the corner.
He kept it in, they broke.
And they broke, but the manager probably thinks that's a fine, it's one little moment and it's in their half. Manager's probably all right with that, because most of the time our players are, in general, quite calm. And I think that you can see it through the side.
You do a thing of, like, obviously, everyone looks at things through their own lens, don't they? Of course they do. That's life. We all do it, don't we? And we look at the subs and that. And it is a thing of, he knows what he can get out of each player, doesn't he? We'll see it differently, because we're, particularly at Goodison, or in a game where it looks like the leggy, like that Brighton game will still wind me up, because Ashley Young was knackered and Jack Harrison couldn't breathe, you could tell. And that's where he should have made the subs. But the thing is, you do have those moments where there's like, again, I always like to take it back to the kids team, where you look at the bench and go, we're in this game, I don't really want to upset. And you understand why Premier League managers, if you've got great subs, real ability, you'll go, yeah, we can change this, it's not going to affect it. Or if you're behind and you think, these three lads who are coming on are brilliant, so they're going to get us something. If you feel like you can only trust 13 players maybe, which he feels like he can, it's a big thing. If they're doing all right in the game, it's a big thing to upset that apple cart, because that player might come on and take 10 minutes to get into it, or 5 minutes, and in that time you've conceded.
I think especially when you're a team as well who's comfortable not having the ball, you need players who are calm.
Discipline.
Because you can't bring in a headless chicken who's going to run around and chase everything.
Let's be honest,
we need to consolidate.
It's why. But it's also why Dan Juma doesn't get on the pitch.
That's who
because he's not going to run back though either and put that.
Why we sold Amari Gray? For the same reasons. It's just like you can't trust these players. You have players. You've got different kinds of players, but you have individuals who their inner sort of motivation is what they do, not for the team, but what they do for themselves. Yeah. And those players end up being some of the best players in the world because of that. That leads to greatness, but at our level, we don't have that greatness.
No, if you've got like half a dozen players in your team who you know where they're going to be and they're going to give you everything, then you can sprinkle the others. And sometimes it'll end. You'll have, not even luxury, but you'll go, well, I kind of accept that this player's not going to get back and cover as much, but my left back's superb, so it doesn't really matter. You see it with it's why City, because they've got so many good players, they play 2 at the back. Play 2, Liverpool are starting to do it, aren't they? And Arsenal do. Because they've got so many good players, they almost trust in the lads at the top end will do it for them, and other players will just come and cover it. We're at a position where we're trying to build that, and he's trying to build so he knows that 9 or 10 are all on it, all at the same time, and therefore one might just drop off for a sec, and that might be McNeil, but McNeil works his bollocks off. So do you take him off and put Dan Juma, who may go bang on the run and strike one in the top corner, but then again he's not helped Michalenko out. And just for now, and probably now more so than ever, if Everton wouldn't have had the 10 points and Everton are on 17 points, the manager might be like, you know what, we're in no danger, and now I'm going to play a little bit more risk and reward because we can win these games. But right now, you can't blame him. And it'll frustrate us at times, but you can't blame him right now if he's going, let's just keep adding the points up because we're in the shit again, basically. Absolutely. You'd have to go for it. But I just thought they do deserve big credit, the coaching staff, because we are calm now when we're defending. It's ironic that we look like 2 totally different teams. At home, we look like we're not clear what we're doing. And yet away from home, we look like we know everything we're doing. We look like a really good side away. And I don't mean we get it and we play 800 passes and people go, what a team these are. But we look like one of those teams that you see go, these know exactly what the jobs are really well. And I think that, again, I keep coming back to it, the balance for him is just getting it right at home. How do you get that balance at home?
Maybe that's where you have to start using your Dan Jumas of the world.
Maybe.
Because you have to break the opposition down, and there's an expectation, isn't there, from the home crowd that just isn't there from the away crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've just been saying how well we defended, and you don't defend well unless you've got your 2 centre-backs are right on it, and James Tarkowski was magnificent at the weekend. He just had that one moment which led to the Gibbs White thing, but in general, excellent. Here's his heat map. And there's his stats: 57 touches, 110 of his 13 duels, 1 interception, 1 tackle, and clearances, 9 clearances in the game. Brilliant. And his partner was also fantastic, just gets better and better. 47 touches for Jared Branthwaite, won 5 out of 7 of his duels, 1 interception, 1 tackle, and 6 clearances for Jared Branthwaite. And them two, certainly as a pair and ped, are absolutely brilliant for us, aren't they?
Made me laugh in the first half when they were both in the opposition box, and both missed.
Both missed.
Yeah, completely
pair of them.
The ball. Yeah. But even on the heat maps there, you can see both of them. There's heat in the opposition box, isn't there, from both of them, which is good. Man, just using them on set pieces and things like that.
Well, it's Branthwaite jumping for the goal that leads us to winning the ball back.
Tarky's winning everything in the air pretty much. You can tell he's enjoying it. He's enjoying defending. He is a defender who loves to defend, and don't always get that in the game nowadays. And again, composure. Him and Bright. He's got a fella next to him he doesn't have to worry about. Doesn't have to worry about him. Doesn't have to worry about making stupid mistakes, giving stupid passes. That probably helps him, settles him down a lot. And I think the both of them have made a really good partnership, and it's a really good platform to build on to move us forward.
Brilliant. And they were getting blocks in, Jack, as well. I mean, I did mention one before, but James Garner blocked one in stoppage time, running back and just threw himself in the way. It was a brilliant block. But in general, they're heading everything away. They're clearing. Both of them can play a bit. Branthwaite can play a lot. Tarky's better on the ball, and people give him credit for. He's really good. And that's enabled that partnership, because it's working well, complementing each other, has meant that Michalenko's been better and better because he's playing in that, on that side with Branthwaite. And I think because Branthwaite is very calm, it does help Michalenko out as well. And it means that in these games, we are able to get through the game with a calmness at the back.
And that benefits the team as a whole, because everyone has trust in each other to do their jobs. There's not a noticeable weak link in the team at the moment when, we have our first 11 available, or, there's Onana to come in as well. But,
and Dom, two players down there.
But, the players that have come in to replace them have been the right ilk. And, you mentioned the calmness in the team and not panicking. Branthwaite's my age, and there probably was a lot of worry around him. We've got this kid here, he's not really played in the Premier League.
We're worried about whether you can make a drink properly, and, he's going in and calm in the Premier League.
But that probably was the worry, and that might have been why he wasn't fancied, and he's come in and he's led by example there, while others more senior than him have failed in that regard, and that's why he's so trusted in that team, and I'm not surprised when he plays well now. He comes in, he does well, it's just, that's Branthwaite. Quality
he's great.
player.
Listen, he's great. And again, Everton, hopefully we'll get from a position that'll be stronger, and we don't have to worry about him moving anywhere soon. But that's been a big part of the bedrock on which we have been very solid this season, and we have, and this is a team that, if ever go back to Anfield, remember the game. This is a team that it took a penalty 13 minutes from time to break down against one of probably the best attack in the Premier League overall. I'd say Liverpool have got, and Everton were very comfortable that afternoon with these in the back line, and it took
down to 10 men.
It took Michael Keane coming off and putting his hand out for a bus to break us down.
It took Michael Keane coming on for Liverpool to break us down
with the handball.
That says it all.
So they have been excellent. Let's have a look at the overall match stats from the game. Forest and Everton won. 13 attempts at goal to Forest, 12 to Everton. 3 on target for the Blues, so they're 2. No big chances for Forest, 1 for Everton. And the sweet spot, Ped, the 38%.
Well, 37 is the sweet spot.
I like the 38.
You're allowed
the swing was 37-40.
You're allowed to have 3 either way, so we're in there. We're basically in there. We lost the XG, which is great as well.
Well, that's good. We want to lose the XG because we won it too many times.
We're a better team with less possession. That's just fact.
No, we're a counter-attacking team, so therefore it doesn't.
I don't think we're a counter-attacking team. I think we work well with less of the ball.
But that's essentially...
No, it's not the same thing.
No,
not the same thing. Not the same thing. We allowed the opposition to just have meaningless ball. But that doesn't mean we counter-attack.
We just pinch it.
I don't think we're a counter-attacking side.
But the point is, we're very effective on the ball when we don't have too much of it and we don't overcomplicate things.
You need better players to have more of the ball.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that'll come as the team develops, and then maybe, players who are more of the ilk than
Well, we have a bit more...
might be more required in the Everton
when Onana's in there, we have a bit more of the ball as well.
But
obviously.
Even at the moment, for just where we are, everyone needs to be aware, and that's fine. We've got the right bunch for that.
Absolutely.
You're obsessed with ilks. Is it just the time of year?
Yeah.
Fair play. Fair play. There you go. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. We are going to carry on now on Toffee TV Premier. If you want to join that, the link is in the description. The QR code will be on the screen now. And don't forget, if you're an Evertonian and you want a nice Christmas jumper, the link is also there for that. Get your order in now. Right, we will see you later. Bye.